Welcome to episode 24 of the Credit Card BS podcast. My name is Shaun. I'm the UC Berkeley graduate that created and taught the university-sponsored course on credit card rewards. I'm coming at you today from the world-famous and world #1 rated Ritz-Carlton Kyoto. Now today, I'm not joined by my normal co-host, Sherwin. I have my player 2 here, Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm Shaun's player 2.
Yes, she is my player 2. So today, we're going to talk about what it's like having a player 2, how to get a player 2, difficulties you may encounter having a player 2, and everything you need to know. So, Jessica, first, what is it like being a player 2 in a credit card game? So I'm, usually the one that does the research in these things. I take you on these trips, but of course you're doing your part too by applying for these cards and using them to get the sign-up bonuses. So what's it like being a player 2? What's your experience been?
I would definitely not be traveling as much as I am right now if I was never your player 2. Like, I would literally just, wake up in the middle of the night, being super loopy, and Shaun would ask me, hey, I just booked a first-class ticket to Japan. And then I'll be, really loopy, not knowing what he's talking about. And then, 1 month before we depart, we'll be like, wait, so we're going to Japan next month? So that's, basically my life, every other day. He'll be, booking random trips, and then we'll just be going on a trip without me knowing. But it's also really nice to not do any research as someone who is, really lazy about it and just never really... I'm, the type that I will make a group chat about going on a trip but never make it out of the group chat. So it's nice that we're actually going to places that and staying at mega nice Uber high-end hotel. So my life would be really different if I never met Shaun and never really have this opportunity to visit nice hotels like this. And I get to just tag along and not do anything, not knowing where we're going next.
I'm really glad you've been enjoying it so far. Now, to get a player 2, right, what is a player 2? A player 2 is basically someone that helps you in the credit card and travel game. So they apply for credit cards, they'll use your referral links, they'll help you earn points at a much faster rate. Now, why have a player 2? Why is this so important? Well, when you're staying at a hotel, you're not paying per person, you're paying per room. So if we're both staying in the room, right, it's the same price as if just I'm staying in the room. So why not bring someone with me, and then they can earn points too, and then we're effectively splitting the cost 50-50. So that's kind of the math behind a player 2. Now for flights, it doesn't really work out the same way because you have to purchase per seat, so you don't really have any net gain there, but in hotels, your gain is huge. So now who can be a player 2? So obviously you're my girlfriend, so girlfriend, spouse, significant other can be your player 2. Who else do you think could be a player 2?
Family members.
Family members.
Close friends.
Close friends, anyone you travel with, pretty much, right?
Anyone you trust.
That's a very good point. It's not just someone you travel with, but someone you trust, because you're going to be splitting costs with them. You're going to be earning points together. Let's say I pay for this trip with a friend, right? So I have a friend, there's my player 2, and I pay for this trip, and I'm like, okay, you get the next one. And then they say, oh, well, I already burned all my points on this family vacation. So you have to trust them that they're also going to be doing their part in this game together, because otherwise you might be left hanging dry after you earn all these points. So moving on, does having a player 2 make things actually cheaper? So there's been some debate about this where, on the hotel side, obviously yes, but on the flight side, it can make some things more difficult, right? Because I have to purchase you a ticket whenever we go now. I have to always purchase a second plane ticket, second hotel. What do you think though? Having a player 2, experiencing this, do you think it would be cheaper if I just traveled myself everywhere, or do you think you being here reduces the cost overall?
I think it reduces the cost overall because you really get to split any bills 50-50. Let's say we were in a hotel, right? Same hotel room, if whatever surplus charges we have to pay, we can just split 50-50.
You're traveling with a player 2. Things are just cheaper. We split a taxi.
Yes, I was going to say that, right? Taxi, if a second person hop on, literally instant split of 50-50. And or maybe if you want to buy some stupid souvenirs for ourselves, and then you want to just buy food off the street, right? You both get to taste it and you pay half the cost and you don't worry about not finishing the food. So just a lot of small perks like that where you get to save a lot of money and not waste extra food that we're not gonna finish.
That's a very good point. And even on these high-end restaurants, right? If you go to these really fancy sit-down set menu restaurants, right? They'll oftentimes have these very expensive $120 a person menu, and I'll never be able to finish it. There's no way I could finish these tasting courses. But if you have two people, you can just split it, and which we've done before. We've ordered one set menu, we just split it, and then we're still full by the end.
Yeah.
So it makes it much easier to share things, I feel like. So I think, yes, it does make things significantly cheaper. One of the other perks as well is referral bonuses. So not only do we have 2x the ability to sign up for credit cards, but when we are signing up for credit cards, we're referring each other back and forth. So when you get a card, I refer you. When I get a card, you refer me. And our points are, effectively kind of pooled in the same thing. It doesn't really matter who earns the points, but we're now being able to kind of keep it within our own system by referring each other. And so that can be, huge benefit. I mean, do you agree? I mean, we're always referring each other, right?
No, yeah, and also just referring to friends, right? You have like double the size of your social circle. You can refer to your boyfriend's friend or your boyfriend's family members. It's just like you have so many more people that you can refer to.
That's a very good point. Not only are you referring with each other, but you're able to refer to people that your player two knows, right? I've referred to your cards to your friends before, and so that helps earn significantly more points because especially as you get into the later game, referrals can make up a big part of how many points you're earning, and being able to build up these big points balances. So okay, we've talked about a lot of the perks of a player two. It's very nice to have someone to help you apply for credit cards, earn these points, split the hotel costs, split the food. What are some annoying things about being a player two? And I think you can relate to this because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you'll have cloudy, stormy, rainy days.
Yeah, so one thing that's annoying, very annoying actually, is that I am not as big of a traveling person as Shaun is. So sometimes I'm like, I just want to like stay home, like let's say I have a lot of work to do. So I just don't want to go out all day and I feel guilty about like not going out with Shaun, right? Or just like sometimes I'm not planning to go on a trip, like I'm kind of broke, I don't want to spend more money in that period of time. And then Shaun found us like a really good deal and then now I feel like I'm obligated to go to. And that he doesn't really, or like I'm like his top choice like to go with, right? Out of other people. So I just feel bad not going with him, but also feel like I want some time off traveling, just spending some time with my dog because he's an old grandpa dog. Like so that's like a big problem because sometimes I just want to spend more time with myself or with my dog, so I just don't want to go. But then he has this amazing trip planned, this first class ticket that he booked a long time ago, and then it's like now if he cancels, it's really hard to find another one. So there are incidents like that. It's just really, I guess, hard to compromise.
That's a very good point because since like we've entangled our points earning and our trips together, like if I go with I only really want to go with you mainly, right? So if you don't go, I feel like I don't really like solo travel that much. I know some people like it. It's not really for me. It's always fun to have someone to talk to, someone to hang out with, and especially for as you said, like these first class flights. If I book you on a first class flight, and let's say even if I have other friends that want to go, I can't get them on that flight still. I can't, there's, the award availability won't be there. It's going to be tough to figure out. And so, and you're right, like it's a thing, like sometimes our travel styles don't line up. You want to maybe spend some time with the dog. You want to do something, even when these trips are very cheap, they're still not free. We're still paying money to be here. We're about to take a bullet train later today and it's $90 a person. And, we're still paying incidental costs. So it still costs money. It can be annoying. Now, let me say that even though sometimes there can be issues, obviously I've been able to get you in the game. I've been able to have you get cards. You go places with me. We're here right now at the Ritz Kyoto. Amazing hotel, by the way. Now, let's say someone though has a player two, or they're trying to make someone a player two, right? So it's like their significant other, and they're not really wanting to get into it. They're kind of doubtful. They're like, I don't, like, what do you mean I got to get 4 annual fee credit cards? I hate annual fees. I have 1 credit card. What would you say to that person trying to convince them, and how would you, convince them? What would you do?
Well, can I talk about how like you pay for my credit card?
Oh yes, that's a very. Oh sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
so wait.
Okay, there you go.
So one thing we do is that because I personally am not like into the credit card games, like I don't really find joy doing the research and like looking for deals. Shaun is the one who's really into it. I just enjoy what happens after, like the fact that we get to go on nice trips. So I like the nice part that I don't need to do any research and he does it all. So we have a compromise is that I will, like, he can sign me up for any cards that he wants to sign up for, including the ones that have annual fees. But he will also be paying the fees. And I mean, occasionally, there's one card that I agreed to split a 50-50 because like my dog gets to go on that trip too. So there's like occasional, like very rarely, I'll contribute like some, but mostly he pays for all of it. And the perks that he gets is that I'll listen to all his credit card talks, right? Like whenever we go to places, he'll talk about, oh yeah, how we can get to Japan using Alaska miles with Etihad, whatever. I don't know. It's like the weirdest route, you know. So I would, just be patient, listen to it, and just get the benefits out of it. And then it's also nice to, I guess, because I don't do any research, but then like I also learn a lot from him. Like I don't need to spend time right to spend like 10 hours do research, but then he will just like literally like tell me, like educate me about different types of cards or different types of like, I don't know, like point stuff that I would need a lot of time to learn it by myself otherwise. So that's like a cool part about it.
That's good. And I want to throw in there is that one thing I think you forgot to mention for the annual fee cards that I pay for, it's not that I'm just paying these fees out of nothing. Is that in the deal is that I pay her annual fees and that any of the free night certificates, any of the credits, any of the perks of those cards, I get to use however I want. So let's say, she has a free night certificate, but she doesn't want to go on a trip. Great, I'll use it for me and my friends or whatever. So I can, I'm still getting the full benefit out of these cards, and she still gets to go on these trips, but, she doesn't have to feel the obligation of the annual fee. And what's also really nice for me is she never, debates, oh, I don't want to get this card's too expensive, because I'm paying the fee. So she'll open any card I want, not really an issue. She knows my referral link, and that makes it so we're able to move much faster, because since I do the research, I know what cards are good to get, and that she still gets the benefits, but then I get the benefits too of having, effectively access to more credit cards and more perks. Because when you have these cards like the free night certificates, for example, the more of them, the more you're benefiting because you can have more of those free nights. I think another thing to do is, let's say you have a stubborn player too. If you haven't taken them anywhere yet, they're going to be stubborn, okay? She was a little doubtful too, and then I took her to Alila Napa Valley.
That's
and
the
then
first time
first
ever,
points redemption.
Yeah.
And no complaints now. After that, you can't complain. Once you experience something like that, once you're able to experience what you're able to do with it, you're not really going to complain because it's pretty sweet. You get some pretty nice perks, some pretty nice benefits. So I feel like that's a really good thing to do is show them, not just tell them, show them like how they're actually going to benefit this and show them like the places that, you can do.
Yeah. So I guess the answer is just to find compromise, right? Like if you're able to show me what you can accomplish and you're also willing to pay the fee, then I'll just tag along whenever I want to. Or if your player two is also really into the point stuff, then you can maybe like split, I don't know, whatever the points 50-50, or you get to plan one trip and then the next trip, your player two can plan it. So it's just to find compromise between the two people.
I think it's an excellent point. Now, how do you feel about being my player two? Like, how do you overall, like, have we found a good compromise? Is there anything else you wish?
I think we found a really good compromise because, again, right, I would not be able to do any of these with just my knowledge or if I never met you. And I really enjoy just to tag along and, like, pay basically nothing compared to what I really need to pay for this type of places. It's just that sometimes I feel like, oh, wow, if I don't have to travel all this time, then I can just spend, like, more time working and then more time spend time with my dog.
For sure, yeah. So let me also ask you now, like, we should talk about what kind of cards what's a good type of card for a player too. Because some cards may be more geared towards someone that's a player two, maybe cards that require less work, for example. So I think those, and I think you go like the free night certificate cards. I think those are the easiest for any player to have because those don't require any work. So like we're talking about hotel keeper cards here, things like the Hilton Aspire, IHG cards, Marriott cards. Those are really good because they don't require any effort. They don't require any spending. I will throw in though, even though I mentioned the Marriott card, For example, the high tier cards sometimes can be not as good for player twos to have. For example, when we're talking about like earning hotel status, I'm the one, since I'm like player one, I earn the hotel status because, she doesn't go on the trip. I still want to be able to use the hotel status for myself. So, for example, like she doesn't have the Marriott Brilliant card. Even though we could benefit from another free night certificate, she doesn't need the Marriott Platinum status. There's not really that much of a perk. For Hyatt, I'm the Hyatt Globalist. For IHG, we both have Platinum from the Premier card. We both actually have Diamond. Long story on that one, but we don't actually do any work to maintain the Diamond. We talked about this in episode 1, actually, IHG hacks. Check it out.
Nice plug-in.
Nice plug. Very good plug. And so cards like that don't require work are really good for player twos because you don't have to go, oh, did you do the spending on this category this month? Did you do, get the keeper cards, get the free night certificates. You're able to travel more. Makes it a lot easier. I mean, would you agree with that or any other kind of cards I didn't talk about?
Well, I agree. Oh, Southwest Companion Pass.
Southwest Companion Pass. So,
very important for two people traveling together.
Yeah, so Southwest, we've talked about this on the episode of Southwest Hacks. Companion Pass is very powerful, especially when you have a player two. Extremely powerful when you have a dedicated player two. But it basically is a buy one, get one ticket unlimited on Southwest for up to 2 years. That could be very, very powerful if either you or your player two has it. Doesn't really matter who has it. But that's really nice. Half off on your like domestic flights pretty much if it's within Southwest route network.
Or if your player one is generous, maybe they will just give you the free ticket, but sometimes you have to pay half.
Yeah, we split it half. I'm not paying the whole cost.
Well, and also for all the TSA pre-check global entry stuff.
Very
smart. You have it all, right? Because of your status, I get it for free. And
Yeah.
your family too.
Yes, because we have so many cards with those credits. So buy it for player 2, 3, 4, 27, doesn't matter because we have so many cards with those TSA pre-check credits that, even if a friend hits me up and like, hey, I need a TSA pre-check, I would just buy it for a friend, like if they ask me, like nicely, because I have too many credits.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let's close here with where to find a player 2. Like, let's say you don't have a player 2 yet. What would be some options?
Well, joining Shaun's Discord channel would be really helpful because there are a lot of people with common interests trying to look for a player too.
Thank you for the Discord plug. So yeah, check out the Discord link in the description. There's a lot of people there interested in travel and award travel, 100% for free, nothing for sale. And if you need to find a player 2, maybe you can find one there because there's people there without player 2s and that want to travel places. And we have like a meetups channel where you can coordinate trying to meet up with other people. And even if it's a temporary player too, right? It doesn't have to be permanent. You can just split the points cost for a hotel room, or maybe you can research flights, split up the work. So it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. But the other thing would also just be, hitting up friends, trying to convince them into this game. All it really takes is showing them one nice hotel stay, and then they might be hooked in for life. Yeah. So that's all it really takes. Do you have any other final notes? Anything else you wanted to throw in there?
No.
That's good. So one final thing, though, is if you want to help support the channel, please consider using the affiliate links in the description if you plan to apply for any credit cards. It helps out so much. You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I want to bring Choco to Kalala Island, so...
Yeah, it helps out. You want to bring the dog to Kalala. I don't even know if we can do that. But if we can do that, that would be very cool. You want to help see Choco go on some more Choco's her dog.
Maybe if more people sign up for the links, then we can have a Choco channel.
Yeah, we can have Choco come on the episode too.
Yeah.
So we now have to get going because our checkout is in 15 minutes, even though we have 4 p.m. checkout. We're about to head to Tokyo. And so we hope you've enjoyed this very much, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.